What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Channel. A great day. For all you guys who have been following the channel, know that I'm getting the C5 Corvette ready for the autocross event coming up in a few weeks. And in the last video, I changed out all the fluids, minus the brake fluid. Today, we are flushing out the brake fluid and replacing the front rotors and pads. Alright, over here on the bench, we have all the products that are going to be going into today's video. These brake rotors are some AC Delco OE rotors that I got off Amazon. I picked these up for I think 40 bucks a piece. Hell of a deal. Can't beat that. And as far as brake pads, we're going to go with these Power Stop Track Day pads. Heard nothing but good stuff about these pads. As far as fluid, we're going to go with this Motocross High Performance .3 brake fluid. Has a pretty high boiling point compared to the factory stuff that you can put in these cars. I wasn't going to go with the Modal 660 brake fluid, but that stuff is expensive, and this stuff is actually pretty reasonable price. So this is a pretty good bang for your buck fluid, and has, like I said, has a pretty high boiling point. How do you know if you need to flush out your brake fluid system, or why do you even have to do it? Well, brake fluid eventually over time is going to collect moisture in the system, regardless if it's leaking or not. And once you get moisture contaminated fluid, that's when bad situations happen, because moisture or water has a much lower boiling content than the actual brake fluid. And once the contaminated brake fluid that has moisture in it starts boiling, that's going to create bubbles, and air bubbles in your system is very bad, causes no brakes at all, which could lead to a very dangerous situation. So how do you know if your brake fluid has been contaminated and whether it needs to be flushed? Well, with this little simple tool right here. This is a brake fluid tester, and it actually measures the water content in your fluid, and it'll tell you whether it needs to be flushed out or not. I'm going to show you guys how to use this really simple tool I got off Amazon. I think I paid like $8 for this, so if you don't have one of these, I definitely recommend picking one up. I'll link this one out down below for you guys as well. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to use this brake fluid tester here. We're going to take off the cap off the top, which will expose these two little prongs. These are the ones we're going to stick into the brake fluid to test, and it'll show you here by percentage how much water content your brake fluid has. 1 and 2% is okay. Once you reach 3 and 4, that means you definitely need to flush out your system. So we're going to go ahead and come over here and to our reservoir, take off our cap, and yeah, that stuff is pretty nasty. I'm going to go ahead and turn the light, the tester on. I'm going to dip these in here, keep a note on the light, and we are at, well, we are 3%, we're at 4%. Yeah, this is pretty nasty, so it definitely needs to be changed. I'm going to go ahead and wash this off with some water. Alright, now that I've showed you guys how to test your brake fluid, I'm going to show you guys how to flush your brake fluid on your car. And on this particular model, this is the 99 C5. Manufacturer recommends that you start from the passenger rear, jump to the driver rear, then we jump to the passenger front, and we finish it off by doing the driver front. But before we do any of that, we need to go ahead and extract as much of the brake fluid out of the master cylinder and top it off with some clean brake fluid. So that way, whenever we go ahead and we start flushing out the passenger rear, once we get clean brake fluid there, we can go ahead and continue on to the rest of the car and finish it off. And I'm actually going to be using this vacuum brake bleeder here from Snap-on. This is a great tool here. I love this thing. This thing works really, really well. If you don't have access to any Snap-on tools, I will link a similar product to this one here. This one works really well. I haven't had no issues with this at all. But like I said, if you don't have access to obviously a Snap-on tool truck or online, I will link one that's basically similar to this one as well. Alright, now that we have this, we're going to go ahead and basically once you press the trigger on this thing here, it'll continuously suck air until you press the trigger again. And go ahead and stick the end nozzle of the vacuum pump in here, all the way in there. Go ahead and press the trigger. Yeah, this thing is pretty quick, so I'm gonna go ahead and top it off now. Alright, so I've already extracted all the old brake fluid at the master cylinder and topped it out with some clean brake fluid. Now I got the passenger rear wheel off, and we have a 10mm wrench, which is what we're going to use to crack the bleeder on the back of the caliper here. Take off the little rubber boot, and I'm going to use a 10mm wrench to put on top of the bleeder here. Grab the end of our vacuum pump. I'm going to stick it on there. Nice tight fit. Once it's on there, we can go ahead and squeeze the trigger on the pump. Crack it open. Alright guys, so I just got done doing the driver front, and we got some clean fluid finally coming out of the front, and I've already emptied out the reservoir a couple times. So yeah, we got clean fluid coming out the driver's side, so we are officially done with the bleeding. Went ahead, like I said, did passenger rear, driver rear, passenger front, and just ended here with the driver front, and we still have some clean brake fluid in the reservoir. I'm gonna go ahead and top off the reservoir and close off the cap and be done with the system, and now we can go ahead and install the new brake rotors and pads. Alright, brake rotors and brake pads are on. Oh, and by the way, I spent a little extra time last night painting the calipers on the C5 Corvette. I didn't make a video on it. I didn't show you guys how to do it because I've already done this video before on my BMW 750, and it's basically the same process, so I didn't want to bore you guys with that. I did use these products like I did last time. These are some really good stuff. I will link the video if you guys are interested in doing this on your C5 up here. Watch that video. It's basically the same process. So I didn't want to bore you guys with that. Anyways, also I'm going to be doing a review on these Amazon seats after the autocross. That's when I really want to put these seats to use and to make sure that, you know, to see how well they actually perform. I mean, these seats are actually made for that. So I want to do a review after the autocross, maybe even during the autocross, to see how well these seats hold up. So far they've been good. Alright, so that does it for today's video, guys. I'm going to go ahead and lower the car down, take it out for a test drive, make sure everything's working great. If you're interested in any of these products, like I said in today's video, I'm going to link them out down below in the description. We'll see you guys on the next one.